So any further plans for Commonwealth expansion? Because I know you were a little bit upset that Muscovy and the Ottomans aren't here.
I mean, honestly, all I have is Sweden. Like, I'm integrating Novgorod, which is kind of sad, but I want more of the trade to be able to transfer out. But I mean, I'm bordered with Muscovy, Crimea, and Ottomans. If I go, it's like literally, if I go west, I run into Prussia and Austria.
Which you totally should do. Do it.
After the Ottomans. Shh. No. Yeah, let me alienate my only allies before when I have the Ottomans in Arabia messing with me.
Hey, you like a challenge. There's your challenge.
Yeah, they outnumber me by like at least 2 to 1, and then with the Mamluks' money, it'd soon be probably 3 to 4 to 1. With them build as many army camps as they can build.
But did you see that Arabia and the Ottomans are currently fighting?
Do they not have an alliance?
I don't think Arabia set their AI options. Arabia went after Hormuz. Hormuz is allied to the Ottomans. Those two are at war.
Ottomans are at war with Arabia, Aragon, VJ. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Ottomans are protected, so you probably can't do anything about this, but that's just weakening their side right there. All because...
Come on, Arabia, break Crimea free! Set my people free!
So I really hope that certain players, Ottomans, Andalusia in particular, have stern words with Arabia.
Don't
set your bloody AI options!
Yes, that was a painful mistake on that part.
Because this is going to be just bleeding the Ottoman and Arabian manpower. And there's only one person who's going to be looking at this and laughing. Well, actually, 2 players that are going to be looking at this and laughing. You and Timurids.
Yeah.
Ooh, Timmy's making a big bid for India right now. We might see a Mughals this session.
Well, I mean, it probably lets him, like you said, move on, so.
Ooh, this is very interesting. I didn't realize he was going this crazy. That's a big fight, and he is taking it. Alright, I'm giving you inside info right now, which I shouldn't do.
I could probably see it if I wanted to. Oh, by the way, my Cossacks are almost up to...
So, what was it that happened? Was it an event or a disaster?
Oh, yeah, it was the event where you either make them happy or... and piss off every single other person. It's like minus 25% loyalty for the other 3. I'm like, no thank you.
Oh, so your military is capped? Okay, you just spent it.
Yeah, I'm almost 100% professionalism.
That's what happens when people give you some quiet moments to reflect and rebuild. Also, look at the quality of those generals. That's insane. Oh, we have another war. Austria. Huzzah!
Really? I'm surprised he's going after war. He's got religious issues. Oh, he's going after Andalusia and France.
Yeah, scram. I need to look at this.
All right.
See you later. Cool, so we have got Austria going after Andalusia, Sicily, Togut, Cuba, and France. So is France allied to Andalusia? No, it's France and Austria versus Andalusia. This is very unfortunate for Andalusia because Andalusia is also in the war between the Ottomans and Arabia. And all of the Aragonese armies are over here as well because Aragon was also allied to Arabia. So who's going after Aragon right now? Hormuz is fighting Aragon because of that war. Then Andalusia, Sicily, Togot, Cuba, and France. So France is defending Aragon against Andalusia, which I guess makes sense because France probably wants to deny Andalusia this territory. Austria, I would assume, is most interested in going after Sicily because they want to add that to their Neapolitan territories. Oh no, Naples is free. And in a coalition. I thought Austria had taken more of Naples. Apparently I'm wrong. Oh no, France is... I am not reading these right. France is at war with Austria. It's France plus Andalusia versus Austria and Aragon. Arabia is the former Mamluks, yes. And Poet, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime sub. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for that support. Cornwall is the hero we need, but is it the hero we deserve? Cornwall is beating England. They probably just can't reach Oxford? I want to say that's Oxford. No, that's not Oxford. Is that Oxford? I can't zoom in. Like, this is the annoying thing. This panel blocks everything. Oh, I can't tell because he's renamed everything anyway. I think that's Oxfordshire. Look at the war screen. I can't, Charles. I'm locked. There's nothing I can do here. Because we have Mean Wolf joining in again. That's Congo. But this is the first major action that Austria has taken against another player, which is why this is exciting. Andalusia has been a little less reluctant to meddle in other people's affairs, and also bear in mind that a lot of the French provinces, and basically the French bounce back, is due to the Austrian intervention on their behalf against Burgundy. So the fact that France and Austria are fighting right now is kind of a big deal. Also, I think that France is going to be kicking themselves that they've not been upgrading their forts. I own the vanilla game. What DLC do I need to get the government? That is Dharma. And Dharma is a really good expansion. Dharma, Cradle of Civilization, those I would say the two big ones now. Because Cradle of Civilization gives you professionalism and drilling, and Dharma gives you the government reforms. So I apologise for this slight downtime. This is just one of the realities of multiplayer games, unfortunately. I'm wondering how deep into this Andalusia is going to want to go. Does Andalusia gain anything from preventing Austrian growth? Probably. That would really slow Austria going down into Naples, which would be another competitor in the Mediterranean against Andalusia. Alright, have these two made peace? I think they may have. Did Arabia take some of the Ottoman territories here in the north? It might have. So France is sitting here on a lot of manpower. This is why it's annoying. Oh, now we can click around. Yay. So France is sitting on a lot of manpower. Austria also has quite a lot. Andalusia has rather less, but I think Andalusia has the largest standing army. We can actually take a look at that. If we go to armies and then sort this by war enemies, we can see that Andalusia is coming in with a total army of 77,000. Actually, the Austrian force is the biggest. France does have... France is a small standing army, but a lot of manpower. So if France... Oh, and Holland. Holland have hired Dutch forces as condottieri, but the Dutch condottieri seem to be going south into Aragon. Not at all interested in fighting against the Austrian forces. Do the Austrians have any military ideas? They have quantity, so their armies don't necessarily fight any better. They have absolutely no combat modifiers whatsoever. France doesn't either, but France does have Elan, which means they have a huge amount of morale. Although Austria actually has an identical amount of morale, pretty much. So, how on earth has Austria achieved that? Oh, France is behind in Miltech, aren't you? I remember that was your problem previously. No, you are the same. So how on earth does Austria have the same morale? 6.06. 6.02. But Austria doesn't have defensive. France has defensive and Elan. What am I missing here? Prestige. France is... yeah, okay, they have lost a lot. Let's see if they have any other modifiers. Defender of the Faith, Austrian traditions. Their tradition does give them 10%. They have an advisor, power projection, and army tradition. Their power projection, tradition, and prestige are all pretty good. The French are sitting on lower tradition, much lower prestige. They do have a bit of power projection, so that's basically nullified. But I didn't realise that Austria had a +10 national idea, so that makes more sense. And then the defensiveness is basically countered by the fact that Austria has advisors and stuff like that, which I'm assuming you do not. You have no advisors. Alright, so French armies are not really doing very much. They're basically just stalling for time while Aragon falls. However, once Avignon falls, Austria is about to go to Lyonnais. They're going to go for Toulouse. There is not a way through here, though. So France does have this inner layer of walls. Toulouse is covering Rouergue. Auvergne is covered by Lyonnais. Savoy is covered by Lyonnais. And also Wallis. Meanwhile, in the south, we have the Sicilians going for the Austrian territories in Italy. I doubt that Austria is going to care very much. I think this is really going to come down to whether the Andalusians come to the French aid or not. The other thing I just want to have a quick look at is to see if this war is ongoing. It is. Did the Ottomans peace out? The Ottomans have peaced out. And it does look like they lost some territory. They did. Arabia took that province. Okay, interesting. Meanwhile, back over here, you were saying we should go and take a look at the relations screen, and then the current wars, and then we can see it is Andalusia, Sicily, Tugut, Cuba, and France versus Aragon and Austria. But we do have Dutch condottieri on the side of the French. We also have Danish troops coming in. What are the Danes doing? The Danes are not involved in a war right now. They clearly do have access. I wonder if Denmark has anything they want to do against Austria, or if this is just Danish troops left over from the earlier war against Sweden. I'm not sure. I think they're trying to get Aragon out the war first and then going after Austria. I mean, that does make sense. Especially because all of the Aragonese troops are over here fighting against the Ottomans. Sorry, fighting against the Arabians. Although we do have the Aragonese navy. I'm a little bit surprised that Andalusia has not gone after them yet. That is 9 heavies. Aragon's actually got a very respectable fleet. Although Andalusia's got 10 heavy ships now. Let's just take a quick look at your ideas. I know Andalusia was planning to do a fairly naval game, but they have not actually taken any naval stuff. It should be mentioned that Andalusia's army is terrifying. Plus 15 morale from the traditions, plus 15 morale from the battlefield commissions from the defensive ideas. Sorry, from military drill defensive ideas. They've got the minus 15% fire damage received. They've got more troops from the manpower modifier. More defensiveness, though, I don't think that's going to matter so much. So yeah, Andalusian army is going to hit very, very hard. And in fact, I'm curious. Nope, Andalusia actually has even lower morale than these guys. Is that because of military technology? That is because of Miltech. This is a big one. Miltech 15 is huge. So Andalusia probably wants to avoid fighting Austria until he's got that. This might be a bad idea. Unless, of course, you're trying to cut them off in the hills and the mountains. That does make more sense. Although you've already lost what should be called Roussillon, is in fact Kuwait. Although it's not mountains. Mountains are mostly here in the north. This is mostly hills. Oh, we have it. The first battle. The Austrians pulling back. Andalusia, there's a bit of good organisation going on here, but Austria has seen the threat and are moving in. Andalusia has cut off one of the Austrian armies. We have a huge battle going on here. 6.1 against 6.4. The Dutch actually taking the lead. We have a good balance of different forces. The Dutch, or rather the Franco allies, having a lot more cavalry, so they will be hitting harder. Austria coming in at a -1. It's a 1-2 versus a something general, and there we go. Both battles have been won. Andalusia pushing the advantage, moving into the flat lands. All of the allies jumping in as well. This is going to be a big loss. Although they're not doing a huge amount of damage, but there we go. Both of the Austrian armies sent packing. And they are just moving on in again. I don't think the Austrians retreated far enough. I think they clicked just into the next province. And this is the result. 100 and 30,000 troops against 30. This is probably a stack wipe. Gone. 30,000 Austrians dead. That's the majority of the Austrian force wiped out. So now Austria is going to be relying on their forts. Now I have to say, the Austrians have done a very, very good job fortifying. They are one of the few players that's actually invested in building a huge network of forts. So invading Austria is going to be a challenge. But Austria does not have defensive ideas, so their forts are not going to be as good. So Andalusia and France look to be taking their forts back again. We have two guns coming after Aragon. We have the Dutch forces, which I would have to say were fairly integral to this conflict. And that was a very good purchase. And I know that Austria and the Netherlands are very antagonistic towards each other. If you look at the community multiplayer chat tab, those two are always taking shots. So the fact that the Dutch joined the French, I'm not surprised by. Also, this song is ludicrously loud. I'm just going to skip it because even I can't hear myself. So things seem to be taking a bit of a quieter moment. Are the Austrians trying to build more troops? The Austrians are rapidly building more troops. They still have a fair old chunk of manpower, but now they are going to struggle to fight against the French manpower. The very, very deep French reserves. And the French can choose a new idea group. They've still only got 2. Remember, France has suffered during this game, so we're only just starting to see the big blue blob beginning to emerge. And that's a lot due to Austria. Austria might now be regretting their choices from earlier. We have the Irish coming in. What are the Irish expecting to gain from this? This is just Ireland versus Aragon and Austria. Is that yet another war? No, Ireland is involved in the Andalusian invasion. I hadn't realised that Ireland was in that alliance too. If the Irish Navy and the Andalusian Navy moved in, they could take down the Aragonese Navy together. Although Aragon has quite wisely moved back. Now, one thing which should be considered is Aragonese galleys are stupendously strong. If we actually went to Aragon, we could see that. So they have a plus 45% combat ability. Aragonese traditions, plus 20%. Improved rams, which is naval ideas, plus 25. And then if they had also taken the galley combat ability, they'd have another 15, but they haven't. I think the player had. The AI must have changed it. In which case, those few Aragonese 18 galleys would do a tremendous amount of damage, especially here in the Mediterranean, where they could probably do a fair amount of damage, if not defeat the Andalusian navy. Although, Andalusia, do you have naval? Andalusia does not have naval ideas, so just the fact that Aragon has the naval ideas would allow them to dominate at sea, though that's not really going to help them, but it will at least give them a couple of territories which would then basically be impervious to assault. Disliked Attila for the colonized cities, and you avoided Warhammer. You've just missed out on the 2 best Total Wars. Attila was phenomenal. I'd say it was my favourite, even above Medieval. And Warhammer is fantastic. Just treat Warhammer as a different Total War game. It's quite different. But as soon as you kind of get it out of the mind, it's like, this is not historical. Treat it as a fantasy game, then it's great. I'd even put Warhammer above Attila, probably. Although that one's a close one. Okay, we have Calico coming in. So this is Arabia. And Arabia shall be made to account for their mistakes in not setting up their AI properly. I'm old school Total War though. Attila is about as old school as you can get. Attila is much more like Medieval and Rome 1 than Rome 2 is. That's why I like Attila. I'd consider myself fairly old school Total War as well. Britannia was okay, it just had some fairly major flaws. Attila I really liked. Attila was great. Give it another try. My favourite game with Attila was trying to survive as Western Rome. That's difficult and brutal, though you need quite a lot of patience for it. Otherwise play someone like the Jutes. If you have the Viking Forefathers DLC, that was a lot of fun. That's how I really got into Attila, was playing as the Jutes. the Vikings. Oh, you've done it as Western Rome. If you've done a world conquest in Attila's Western Rome, then you've spent a lot of time in Attila. But yeah, I stopped playing as soon as Attila died. I was like, okay, that's enough for me. Because yes, I can see that getting boring if you're just going to do the colonizing afterwards. What mods did I use for Attila? None. No, that's not true. I actually used quite a few. I think those are listed in the mods section. I need to double check that. Where's my mods section? There it is. Is it still there? No, I didn't post that. Yes, I did. So if you do !mods, which Dana has just done, there's a mod thing. Then in the archive, Total War Attila, Rome's Resurrection, you can see what I was playing with there. They're not like really big ones, they're more ease of use type stuff. Quality of life, that's the word. Okay, so Andalusia taking the vast majority of Aragon. I wonder if that's going to be kept to. France is going after New Mexico for some reason. I wonder if there's an agreement on how to split Spain up. Now, bearing in mind that Andalusia is basically Muslim Spain, so I think it's only fair that they take it all. But that's going to be down to how the French are feeling about this. The French in this game have generally played a very non-antagonistic game. They've been a very, very good ally. So in those terms, they might want to give it to Aragon, but then again, more and more people are going to be relying on the French, so having a strong France, I think, is going to be in their favour, especially because Austria is allied to the Commonwealth and Prussia. So if you want to counter to this rather strong military bloc, it's going to be the boys in blue. Aragon withdrew. They're no longer playing. Which is why there's this scramble for Aragon going on right now. The Huns camped outside of Rome, not attacking the bad. That's really unfortunate, because the Huns were a very legitimate threat. I mean, if you want to see that series... Oh dear, I crashed. Oh, man.